Hi everyone, welcome to Uila Lightning Chats. Today I'm at Portland Interface Show with my friend Christopher Kusek. He's the CTO of their Logics. Hey my friend Christopher, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Actually, I have a few questions for you since you're here. Sure. My first question is, how do you see the dependent service mapping impact the market?
So, let me hold that back a little bit. So, dependent service mapping is a very interesting area, right? And what the way it's going to break it down as interesting is a lot of people, every business has application dependencies that they need to address. And for the longest time, and you know this from when I saw you guys originally at the VMworld show, was I saw that your product was literally doing something that no one in the market could do anywhere. And the actual way you were addressing it was far better than the other options that didn't even exist in that spaces. But a lot of people don't know what application dependencies actually look like in the organization. Some may have like, hey, we've got this thing that talks to this thing that talks to this thing, and then they'll create some policies and SLAs and how those things interact. But the reality of that is it's more smoke and mirrors and guess than anything else, because they don't know where those pieces are actually tying together. They think that's how these pieces should tie together. I mean, when we talk to clients talking to domain controllers, I assume my client talks to a domain controller and or talks to a DNS server to get information, but I don't know what it's talking about. I don't know why it's talking about it. I have very little, if any, policy that applies to it. Just like web server talking to database, it's talking to, any other type of, plays within their, message queuing. Just that whole chain will establish with the rigorous process with high-paid engineers, hey, this is how things need to be functioning and operating. But the reality and how actual implementation around that tends to flow is it's more of a guess than anything else, and they don't necessarily have a sense of why something goes bad, what happens when this thing is modified in a particular way, or an application starts going south. So they can guess and spend a lot of time, because I've been on those calls, hey, why is the application performing poorly? Well, it's probably security, networking, or storage. Let's start with them and have them try to figure it out. Whereas at the end of the day is, oh, we made a code change to our application. Oh, cool. Why did it take us 2 weeks to get around to that? It's because the application guys weren't going to accept responsibility. What I really like about what your product brought to bear was, not only do I get that visibility, but I have that insight, I have knowledge now. I'm able to actually extract out information and see what happens and why it happened and history. Historically, this thing runs in this particular threshold, but today it happened to go up or it happened to go down. And we can go, now we can take a look at what happened there and how it's starting to impact our actual operations within the business. And not just the operations that we think they need to be, hey, this server talks to that server, talks to that server, but hey, this other server on the outside is actually talking to that thing all the time. And you may not necessarily know that because you know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. And you guys have always been really good at providing that visibility and insight, not on what we believe, but on what we know to be functionally true by extracting that information out of the system.
I totally agree with you. Nowadays, as people are moving from the private cloud to public cloud, migration is their pinpoint, right? How can I do the pre-migration planning and post-migration validation? I believe, with Uila's ADM solution or visibility, we can facilitate that process, right, to make the life much easier for the system admin or application admin. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Because coming back to what we're talking about there is, if you don't know what you have internally, or you believe what you have internally, and then you move it to the cloud like, hey, this thing's not performing the way it's supposed to. Oh, well, what are your dependency mappings look like? How are you communicating and tying into these other things? Well, we don't know. We thought we knew. And it can also get considerably more expensive as you move things over. Like, I didn't realize this was doing that. Oh, we were scaling this for small, but this thing needs to be mega large. Whatever it happens to be, it gives you the visibility inside your own organization. So that way you can then, if you were to take it to any type of cloud service provider or any service provider outside your own premises, you could then apply those same principles and get that knowledge. So it's not just simply about, hey, where does the data reside? It's how is the data communicating to each other? Where are the dependencies? How are things actually performing? And how is it performing going forward as we make changes? Discrete or wide scale.
Thank you very much. I think I got some valuable insights from you. My pleasure talking to you.
No,
enjoy the rest of your day.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.